My name is Gallacher and I'm a software engineer at CGI. I've been a software engineer now for almost 6 years. Some key responsibilities for me in my role are to implement efficient and effective solutions to the specifications which are set out by the client. It's important to ensure that any code developed is of high quality and as reliable as possible. It's also important to ensure the service which we provide to clients meets their expectations in terms of appearance and functionality. Some things which got me interested in this type of role came from when I was in school. Maths and computing were my favourite subjects, and a lot of that came from the teachers which taught those subjects. Both of them, you could tell that they were really interested in the subject and really enthusiastic and passionate, and that's something which I realised that whichever job I want to get into, I want it to be something which I really enjoy. IT seemed like a good area to get into because everything was becoming more digital and that's the way the future was going, so I thought that would be quite a good area to work in. I quite enjoy the computing subject and particularly the small bits of software development that we did in the computing courses, so although I wasn't 100% sure that's what I wanted to do, I thought that it's worth looking into and it's something that I did enjoy, so it's something that I gave a go and now I'm really glad that I did because it's something which I've built a career in and it's something which there's so many opportunities in. Something which inspires me is seeing the positive impact which events like these can have, being able to show young people different opportunities which are available and possibly a career path which they might not have considered before. I know that something like this would have definitely been useful to me when I was in school, which wasn't too long ago. What is my working environment? Currently, I'm at home majority of the time. My workplace does have the option to go into the office, but for me, working at home, especially after being so used to it when COVID was high and everything was going on with that, the flexibility from working at home is just something that works much better for me in my life. So for currently, I'm majority of working from home and that still works quite well because I do work in IT. It's still important to keep up with your team and speak to them every day, which we're able to do, so you're not missing out on any social aspect or any working together. If there's anything that is needed, that sometimes it's better to work together with people, then you can get into the office, but it's really dependent on your role and your project and whichever works better for you personally as well. What advice would I give my younger self about my job? I would say don't worry about a lack of knowledge. I first started in my role when I left school. I didn't go to college or university or anything like that before because I started out as a modern apprentice. I started out a couple of months after leaving school, so I had no experience of doing the job, no real experience of anything other than school. But being an apprentice, you've got the job for a reason first off, so if you get into a college course or uni course, job, apprenticeship, give yourself some confidence that you've been accepted for a reason. I'd say that's a good place to start. And also learn that there's nothing wrong with asking questions. You're there to learn and everyone has to start somewhere, so everyone around you, I'm sure, would be happy to answer any questions and help you learn and develop as best as they can. So I'd say to my younger self or anyone else that I might help, don't be afraid to ask any questions and don't worry about feeling like you have a lack of knowledge, because you have to start somewhere and you can only progress from that point, and I'm sure that feeling won't last too long. Something that is really cool about my job, I would say, is being able to build something which I know is going to help make someone else's job easier. That really helps make all the challenges that come with this sort of job, makes it all worth it, knowing that when you get the end product out the door that's going to help someone else in their job, then that's something which I really enjoy. I'd say the best piece of advice which I've received about my job relates to what I mentioned before, is that there really are no silly questions. It's something which is mentioned quite a lot, and sometimes it's easy to think, oh, it's easy for you to say, there's, if you think you have a silly question, but there really is no such thing as a daft question. If you don't ask the question, you're never going to know the answer, and then that might help you progress if you just ask the question. So although it can be difficult and a little bit daunting, then don't be afraid to ask questions. What is the thing people least expect about your job? I would say the many different ways there are to get into the job, and often people maybe overlook it because they think that it's difficult to get into, or it's really challenging. If you're not sure how to program or write and code, they maybe think that looks difficult, but really it's just the same as learning another language like French or Spanish. The practice makes perfect, and if you put time and effort into learning it, it's really not as difficult as it looks before you get into it. There's many ways of getting into the job. If you can look online, there's plenty of tutorials, or if you go to college or university, apprenticeships, a job. I'd say that's definitely the thing people least expect, is that there's so many a range of people in my kind of job, young, old, people who've come from all different types of careers, and really the job is for anyone, so I would definitely say give it a go. Thank you.